make sure everything's taken care of at home. And he takes care of the finances. And, I basically take care of everything else. Now, when I graduate, this is important because in doing this assignment, it's really ironic that I was chosen to do the dual career couple because I will be, my husband and I will be a dual career couple. And establishing the roles within the household are going to be very important because now I do everything. But when I start back working, we're going to have to split the roles because I am not going to be able to do everything that I've done now and still work and still stay sane, in so many words. So I feel like, establishing roles prior to is very important. And I have a neighbor who I love, like, the dynamics of their household because they have it set up where they have distinct roles and they follow the roles. The husband is in the Coast Guard and the wife is a nurse. So they work, one works in the morning, the other one works during the day, the other one works at night. And they have a child. So, but everything they do is 50-50. Like, one does not do more than the other. They split everything equally, and I think, it's really working for them. But they had to establish that their roles prior to determine, like, when the baby comes, this is what you're going to do, this is what I'm going to do, and it made it easier for them in their household, and it made it less stressful. As far as managing finances, considering that both, couples are working, both male and female are working. And you need to know that whether the finances are going to be together or whether they're going to be separate. That is important because financial misunderstandings are the leading cause of divorce or breaking up with boyfriends and girlfriends. And you need to know at the onset, how are we going to do the finances? Am I going to be over the finances? Are we going to have a joint account plus a separate account? Like, that's something that a career counselor could discuss with couples because that's like one of the most important things is finances. With my husband and I, we have separate accounts, but we have a joint account as well. And it kind of varies because being that he's military, like, I have to have access to his account because he goes on deployments or he goes on trainings and he goes away for long stretches of time, and I cannot, not have access to account. Lord forbid, anything happens. But if it does, I need to make sure that, everything is taken care of. So I have to have access to his account. But it doesn't always work like that, but financial misunderstandings could really cause a strain on a relationship. The social learning theory the theory that I chose to look at when working with this population would be Crumbolt's social learning theory. And I really like the applying plan happenstance theory to counseling. When working with couples or working with, couples, it is important to look at the chance events because, things are bound to happen and you want to know ahead of time, well, if certain things were to happen, what would I do in this situation? Just, to figure out how a person is thinking and where their mindset is and, things of that nature. And it states that the 5 skills that are helpful with dealing with chance career opportunities are curiosity, persistence, flexibility, optimism, and risk-taking. When looking at unplanned events, it's very important to try and prepare for unplanned events. For instance, a baby coming, for a couple that doesn't want children. In that situation, what would happen? The steps that you would take to prepare for unplanned events, which, you can't really prepare for unplanned events, but you can, talk about it and say hypothetically, if this happened, I would do X, Y, and Z. And with that, you would like to normalize planned happenstance into the client's history. It's important to know how couples deal with chance experiences. So if you can see that in therapy, you'll be able to know, okay, well, if this were to occur, then their reaction would be this. Assisting clients to transform curiosity into opportunities for learning and exploration. The future possibilities of things happening. I believe that it'd be important to talk about teaching clients to produce desirable chance. If, one spouse gets a job promotion in another state, how could the spouse respond positively? That could be something to think about if, if my husband, I'm military, so it really doesn't matter. My job comes, his job is first. We've already established that. If we have to get stationed somewhere else, then I have to get up and move my job, which, the career that I'm pursuing would be like a behavior analyst. So thankfully I could take that wherever I go. But at the same time, it would be harder because in that field you develop relationships and you develop bonds with people that you work with. And, it would be harder for me, but I already know prior to going to work that I'm going to have to be the one to sacrifice and take up a job elsewhere if my husband has to get stationed somewhere else. But I know that, so I can prepare for that. But the fourth thing is to teach clients to overcome blocks to action. Some couples may become discouraged, and if it's a counselor's job to help them overcome. With this assignment, I believe that this was a very interesting assignment. I was actually very thrilled to receive this population, considering that, it's something that I'm going to be doing as well with my husband being in the military and me, finishing grad school and embarking on finding a career. I learned some really good points, and I was able to apply them to my life and to make things easier for myself and my husband as well. When looking at genetic endowment, which is important because you can look at working couples and you can know the abilities of your spouse just by looking at their genetic makeup. And it's important to be able to focus on learning, also on how to enhance skills and abilities when working with your spouse and also in the workforce. And that's all. Thank you.